T.D. Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Zyman, your State Farm insurance agent. Scott can help you save money bundling your home and auto insurance. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Zyman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. For delivery or pickup, call 815-758-8116 or go to pizzavilla.com. My Insurance Guys in Sycamore, family owned, local, reliable. My Insurance Guys cover Medicare to auto and everything in between. Call us in Sycamore at 815-899-0950. My Insurance Guy, business, auto, home, life, and health at myinsurancegyguy.com. And Elder Care Services of DeKalb County, safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay at home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdecalb.org.
Also brought to you by Blue Silo Orchard. Blue Silo Orchard would like to invite you to their orchard at 19387 Tower Road in Rochelle. You can find us on Facebook at Blue Silo Orchard for up-to-date hours. We now have a variety of apples and pears and along with pumpkins and even some sunflowers left. You can find us on Facebook at bluesiloorchard.com. That's bluesiloorchard.com.
And welcome into T.D. Ryan Unleashed, podcast number 27. An honor to have with us the folks from the Alano Club. Or maybe not. We'll find out exactly how you say that. But again, it's a local club here, the Alcoholics Anonymous Club. We'll learn about that. If you want to know about them, the DeKalb Area Alano Club opened in August of 1990 with the goal of providing meeting spaces for 12-step programs and provide opportunities for fellowship by members of a 12-step program as well as their family and friends. In 1994, they moved to location, the current home at 312 Taylor Street in DeKalb. A lot of people in DeKalb will know where that is. They have meetings, 21 meetings per week, which includes several 12-step programs and meeting types. And here to talk about it, my former colleague at the radio station, Allison Taylor. Allison, how you doing this morning?
Great. Good to see you, TD.
Great to see you again. I didn't know about this. You contacted me about this, and you said this program has helped you a lot. About 9 years ago you got involved with that? Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, I've been involved with AA for most of my life because my dad was in AA pretty much my whole life growing up. So I was familiar with the program, but at one point then in my life, about 9 years ago, I needed it. And the Alano Club was there for me, and that's where I got sober.
Very good. And we also have with us today is Desiree Lopez. Desiree, tell us about your affiliation with Alano. I might say that Alano. I'm going to say it once and I'll say it right. Alano. Alano. Tell us about your affiliation with Alano.
Yeah, so I have been involved with the club for a little over 2 years. I walked into those doors when I needed a place to get sober, and I've been sober since. It's been the most incredible experience of my life.
I love it. You know, we've talked to a lot of people. We do a suicide prevention show, and we've done shows on cancer. And it reminds me of that because everybody inevitably knows somebody who was involved either with suicide or with cancer. And a lot of times it gets covered up with suicide. Now, I came from a family of alcoholics. My father was an alcoholic. I was telling you guys off the air that he was a salesman and involved taking clients out and most times getting them a little liquored up and getting them to sign the contract. My sister also was an alcoholic, and my brother as well. My brother actually was an alcoholic and had a bar and actually got sober and continued to run the bar, which gave him a lot of credit for that. But again, we all have those little affiliations, and I got myself in college ran into a little bit of trouble there. I went to University of Whitewater, and more bars per capita than any other town in America. So it's easy to drink, isn't it? It's easy to get yourself in trouble with this.
It is easy, and it's socially accepted. It's celebrated. Every time you turn on the TV, you're going to see a commercial about some sort of alcohol.
And they're always having fun by the pool and throwing the ball around.
You notice they don't drink the alcohol in the commercials. You can't drink it, but you can hold it.
Apply that.
Yeah, but it's pretty much everywhere, so it's hard to avoid. So AA and the Alano Club helps us to have a place to go with other sober people, so we could get together and hang out and make ourselves better people. You know,
I was a mobile DJ for a long time, and I had to do an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. I've never done a party without any alcohol. And they were the nicest people in the world, and everybody danced, everybody requested music. It was one of the best gigs I ever did, and didn't miss the alcohol at all. I'm glad we didn't have the alcohol because people become abusive a lot of times when in a situation like that, but it was great to see that. You can have a good time without having to have alcohol there.
Right, and that's one of the things that I think me, when I was an active drinker, didn't think there was a possibility of a way to have fun if alcohol wasn't involved. Everything I did included alcohol, sporting events. hanging out at bars. But when you go to AA, you learn how to have fun without alcohol, and now I can't imagine going back to that life ever. I do remember the first time I danced sober at my cousin's wedding. It was very scary. My mom was like, "Come on, come dance with us." I'm, thinking in my head, "Oh my God, I've never danced sober in my whole adult life."
Wow.
But I did, and nobody was watching me, and I didn't look any dumber than anybody else. So.
And you guys have, I see here, little barbecues and things without alcohol, right? To show people that you can have a barbecue and you don't have to have beer and wine and mixed drinks, right?
Exactly, and then there's no family fights, and you don't worry about anybody driving home.
That's great. We're talking to our friends from Alano. We're learning about that, and of course you have parties around Christmas time as well. We want to talk about that, and you welcome everyone, right? Everyone is welcome to your club.
Everyone is welcome to the club. There are meetings at the club that are closed meetings that only a person with a desire to stop that drug can go to that meeting. And then there's some open meetings where anybody can attend, and then we have events like our cookouts and our anniversary celebration a couple months ago that anybody can attend, family members, community.
I came across an interesting quote on your website too, and it says here, it was just from Bill Wilson. Do we know who Bill Wilson is? Is that a local person or is that a... Well, they're all smiling now. Why is that?
One of the founders of AA.
Okay, well, see, no, I don't know that. My bad. But the quote from him is, "The road to recovery are many, and the resolutions of alcoholism by any method should be cause for celebration by AA members." Now, what do you guys think about that when he says resolving alcoholism by any method? Because I know there's been some pretty drastic methods. And let's introduce our other guest here. Who do we have with us here as well? Sitting on the floor. I'm sorry, delegate on the floor.
Hi, my name's Jessica. I'm an alcoholic.
And Jessica, tell us about how you're involved with Alano.
Sure. So I am an alcoholic. I have been sober almost 3 years. By the grace of God and the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and the Alano Club coming into that's where I first started going to meetings. And it's been such a gift to see people that suffer from the same disease that I do and recover through a 12-step program.
Now, you didn't even hesitate to say you're an alcoholic. I'm proud of you for doing that. I mean, tell us about that. And then the religious aspect, too. Did you want that, or did you know that was part of it when you got into the 12-step program?
I did. So I do not shy away from saying that I'm an alcoholic. I actually consider that a gift. There's a lot of people in life who have trauma that may not relate to a substance disease, but they never do the work and they never recover. So they stay in that sad place where they're not able to be free and live a life that's happy, joyous, and free, which is ultimately, I mean, I'm talking about Alcoholics Anonymous here,
right?
Specifically, but that is the goal, is unity, service, recovery. And you get a group of wild people, people that I never in a million years thought that I would be associating with, who I've developed a loving connection for through this journey, and it's such a gift. For me, a 12-step program, it's spiritually based. I do have a religious faith, but all you have to have is, believe in something bigger than yourself. If you're not a flatlander and you think that there's something more out there, you can definitely find recovery. I do believe in a Christian God, but that's for me, and that's not for everybody, and that's absolutely okay. We accept everyone.
Okay, and Desiree, so in other words, if we're not real religious, we can still do this, right? In terms of the 12-step program.
I'll take over that
I
one. I think it's a misconception with some people with 12-step programs, AA in particular, that you have to believe in God and believe in religion to succeed, and you do not. Like Jessica said, a spiritual program is completely different than religious. I don't believe in God. I believe that I'm not the center of the universe.
I was waiting for the lightning to strike. Thank goodness.
Said that for years. So I might approach the program a little differently than these two, but I do have to believe that I'm not the greatest power. I believe in energy and vibes and nature. But a lot of people that aren't in AA, it keeps them away from AA, is that they think they have to believe in God, and it's religious, and it's not. Some people do talk about it because that's part of their program and their journey. Like me, it's not part of my program or my journey. So there's different people in there, so you can relate. You're going to be able to relate to somebody, and we all have the same common problem about alcohol. So.
Okay, well, very well put there, too. Now, let's talk about with the meetings themselves, because I find that very interesting, because you guys have a printout on your website here. I'm 83 years old and just celebrated 37 years of sobriety. I've been meeting all over the world, and you can meet it all over the world. But first of all, you can tell us again, because you're so articulate. Not that you're not, Allison. But tell us about the meeting. If I walk into a meeting here locally, what's going to happen? What does that look like?
Goodness.
We've seen him on TV where you just said, hi, I'm
Nothing
TD Ryan.
like on TV.
Okay, so it's not like that.
You don't sit in a circle usually.
Oh, well, right there, I pictured you all in a circle.
You know what? I want Desiree to talk about.
All right, Desiree.
She's so good. She's good at this.
I'm being funny. I'm good at it. Yeah. Well, for me, right, when I had an idea of AA, I had that 28 Days with Sandra Bullock movie, and that was like the extent. And then the show Mom came out.
Tell us, for folks who don't know that movie, what was the movie about, essentially?
So Sandra Bullock suffered with alcoholism. She went to a rehab treatment, and there she was supposed to learn how to get sober. And in it, she did pretty much like all of the things that they tell you not to do, right?
Okay.
But it seemed fun. And then that show Mom came out, where I don't know the lady's name who's in it, but they're all sitting around, and it's just kind of it's such a surface level view of what AA actually is. But when you do walk into those rooms for the first time, it is the most terrifying thing that you could possibly do. The incredible thing is that you're met with people who have been in the exact same place that you've been in, and they greet you with open arms, and they love you till you learn how to love yourself. And it is such whether you're spiritual or not, it is a spiritual and heartwarming feeling to finally feel like I'm not alone after you felt alone for so long.
And what is the fear of, and again, this is kind of a cynical question, but you're getting people together that used to go out and party and drink, and maybe this man's wife is making him go to the meeting, and he meets with somebody there and go, why don't we after the meeting, we'll go have a drink, or, nobody's going to know about that. I mean, is that bad to be associated with people that still may have the desire to drink?
So we always say we carry the message, we can't carry the alcoholics.
Okay.
So when you come into those rooms, what you choose to do and what you choose to take away is your own. We just had an open speaker meeting where two guys, right? They've known each other for years. And he was like, yeah, I remember seeing him. And I was like, he is sober? Then I can get sober. And then they went out together. And then it happened in the reverse way where the other one saw the other one. And he's like, he's sober again? I can get sober. And then they went out again together and like partied. So they relapsed together and they got sober together. And
okay.
It's just, when we say it's crazy up in there, we're not kidding.
Now, my brother, I know he sponsors a couple different people, and they've called him at all different times of the night, and just that's very critical, to have a sponsor that you can rely on, especially those moments when you're thinking about having that drink.
Yeah. Am I still talking? Yes, absolutely. Yes, sponsors are incredibly crucial because you do go in and you don't know the lay of the land. You need somebody. Your head is boggled and foggy, and somebody to be there to walk you through that. But then also being a sponsor, you're taking on that responsibility of when somebody needs you, that you're going to be able to be there for them. Yeah.
Allison, tell us about that. Do you have a sponsor, and are you sponsoring somebody, and what is that like for you?
Yes, to both. I've been around about 9 years now, so I don't talk to my sponsor quite as much as maybe some newcomers. I kind of think the sponsor is there, like Desiree said, to show you what's going on, the lay of the land. You don't know that when you go into a meeting that you're not just supposed to talk whenever you want.
Right, okay.
Take your turn. And then to help you through the 12 steps. So you have these steps you have to follow that you want to follow. And it's a little confusing, and you've never done them before. So you have somebody that's already done them with their sponsor to show you how to work these steps.
So there's no script, in other words. And if I'm new to do my first time sponsor, follow this script, you don't do that.
No, there are books and stuff, but
okay.
No, there's nothing specific. You just walk them through the 12 steps. People sponsor differently. People are sponsee differently. I think it's a little bit more difficult to sponsor than I thought when I first started sponsoring.
Okay.
It's way more emotional. A lot of people, like you said, might not be there to get sober because a loved one wants them to be there. So they might not be fully into it.
Well, sometimes it's mandatory too, right? Is it mandatory or no? You guys handle when people are court appointed?
Yes, but you don't have to get a sponsor.
No, I'm saying, but maybe once you get them in there, you can change their attitude once they actually go to a couple meetings.
There are some people that have stayed around after drug court, and there are people who have left. I was at AA with a guy for 2 years. That was there for 2 years, and he graduated drug court, and I never saw him again, except walking around the streets.
Is that right? Okay. Now, my wife's a Rotarian, and when they go to travel across the country, they can go to different meetings, Rotarian meetings. I see you guys can go to meetings on the road. Have you ever done that, going to a meeting on the road, if you will? Tell us about
We just did a
that.
girls' trip. You mentioned Bill W. We went to where AA started in Akron, Ohio, and saw Dr. Bob's house, some grave sites. There's a whole bunch of places around Akron. Like the first place there was an AA meeting. What was your favorite stop, Jessica?
Oh gosh, that crazy coffee house with the band and everybody in there was smoking weed. So that was really wild. But no, I think being in the house was really a beautiful experience for me. Just seeing the bed, where he got sober. And yeah, that was really moving for me. I mean, there was a lot of history in it, but I don't know. We went tubing and we saw a band. We went to a coffee house. We made friends. Sorry, I know we're not talking about AA, but
That's all right.
like Otto shot this museum. These guys were all 90 years old and they had all this memorabilia. And we signed a guest book. It was really wild. But no, I think being there where it all started was a great experience, and just hearing the passion that a lot of the men, like the tour guides, I guess, in the house, in different places. And I like the literature shop we went to. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah,
That was like
that was pretty cool.
The first AA inner office.
Yes.
I think it was, and they're actually moving, but that was the first place we stopped. And I don't think I've told you guys this though, but Desiree, the look on your face was so awesome.
Aw.
You were just like happy and like,
Aw.
wow, coolest thing.
That stained glass was
Yeah,
cool too.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, that's interesting you mentioned weed, because I was telling you guys about my father. And my father was an alcoholic and had to quit. And my sister was going to Northwestern at the time and happened to have access to some marijuana. So she brought some marijuana home for my dad to smoke because he couldn't stop drinking. And he talked about sitting in a chair in his bedroom watching Johnny Carson and going to the bed, how far the bed seemed from where the chair was. But the weed didn't work. He kept drinking. And this is how naive we were. We had a cottage up in Wisconsin, up in Delavan. And we had a keg tapper, the beer tapper. And of course, four brothers, myself, we had the tapper hooked up, and Dad comes up for the summer to quit drinking, and here we have the beer thing all hooked up for him. So one night, my eldest brother catches my dad sneaking a beer from the tapper, and it's like, and then unfortunately died a short time after that. And we were so naive going into it. That's how naive we were. We had the cold tapper ready for him, and then his son had to catch him doing it. But we realized that, is that an alternative to maybe switch to weed or switch to something else other than
You talk about
No. To alcohol, you need to find a way to get off the alcohol that doesn't include just switching. Because you're still going to go back to booze. You're going to go back to booze if you're an alcoholic, no matter
Okay.
what.
And the thing with alcoholism, right, it's that it's a deep-rooted situation. So if you're taking that alcohol in which you used to like cope, and also celebrate and mourn, whatever, and then you're just replacing that with something else that then just alters your feelings all over again. Like, you've gotta, from my belief is that you really have to come in there and you gotta be sober. Like, you gotta raw dog it. You have to figure out how to do life.
See, that would be tough for me, because I remember in college I was going to do transcendental meditation, and the first class they said, now you got to quit everything. You can't smoke weed or anything. I'm like, well, wait. Nobody told me that part. So I couldn't give up the weed, so I blew up, I dropped the class. It was like, so, but do you feel somebody can be sober and perhaps occasionally smoke marijuana? Is that
Yeah, so we have different opinions in this room,
Okay.
right? I am of the mindset that there's like that Cali sober, right? Everybody hears about it, where you don't drink, but you still smoke weed. I personally do believe in the benefits of marijuana. I absolutely do, but I think it's dangerous. It's a dangerous game to play when you're struggling with substance abuse.
Yeah.
So it's not really for me to say on anybody's journey, but I'm not going to discredit what I do believe that weed can and does do for people. It's just not a path I would recommend.
You had something to say.
So I'm the one who gets really indignant about this. One of my character defects is I do get a little bit judgmental about people in recovery that smoke marijuana. Again, I agree there are definitely benefits, medical benefits. I'm not saying that it's all bad. But when we're in recovery, we want to have, or I want to have presence. I don't want to take any drug that's going to alter my mind. Because like Desiree said, it's deep-seated. There are hurts and pains that we've been hiding from with a substance. So for me,
You're just still hiding that.
my idea is you're just using a different substance, and because it's legal and like people don't always know that you're effed up, like, oh, it's all okay. I'm the cool guy. I mean, Desiree and I had a conversation with my 23-year-old nephew, like, well, when people smoke weed, like, you're not beating your wife, you're not getting a DUI, like, you're not, having all of these awful things happen that you are when you're intoxicated, right? It's a different type of altered state.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, like Desiree said, it's everybody's own journey, but I just don't want to, for me personally.
When you said that, you remind me of, there used to be a PSA where the kid, not a kid, he's like maybe in his late 20s or early 30s, and he's smoking a bong in the basement. He goes, marijuana never hurt me at all. He's sitting in his parents' basement smoking a bong.
Well, I always laugh too because I was born in '76, so it was just say no to drugs. Time,
Nancy
right?
Reagan, yes.
So I'm like, we in third grade, we signed this contract, and now you're doing this. It's really hard for me to wrap my head around that it's legal today, right? It's just something that's been ingrained in me, and that's okay. I mean,
If there's a skunk passing or anything that smells like marijuana, she's gonna sniff it out.
Campfire.
Now, one of the things I want to talk about is all the different places. My buddy Bob's an alcoholic, and he actually has become a counselor since then. He's really gone full circle, and but he goes to a lot of meetings. He goes to a lot of meetings, and you almost become addicted to the meetings, and not a bad thing to do. But you find people that go to a lot of meetings.
Yeah, I know with me when I first started, I didn't know what else to do with myself, and I was scared to be with myself. So I did. I was going to meetings like all day, every day. And they do become addicting in the sense where it's like you've been in this dark pit for so long, and it's like somebody finally just shows you a little bit of light, right? Like you're just going to go towards it and towards it and towards it, because these are feelings of like just relief or not loneliness anymore, that you're finally getting, you don't feel alone. When you felt alone for so long, and then you finally don't, you want to be around that.
So do you talk at every meeting, or some meetings you don't? You just kind of go? Or?
Some people talk at every meeting.
And for too long.
Yeah. Get off topic.
What are the rules? Do you follow Robert's Rules of Order? Or what do you guys do at a meeting?
It's weird because there are no rules, but there are kind of rules. There's like
structure.
Yeah, structure. There is someone that chairs the meeting, but that could be anybody who wants to.
Okay. And are you shocked by some of the stories? I'm assuming
Yeah.
Well, you didn't hesitate at all.
I always joke like we'd all be millionaires if we could have an AA reality show. Things that are said in there just people are unhinged. It is just so wild sometimes.
But how does it help you? I was doing a suicide prevention show, and I talked to a guy, one of the psychiatrists who did a group counsel, and everybody write down their problems, and they put it in the middle, and everybody go through it, and they could pick whatever. And everybody picked their own problems back because they thought they had problems and they saw what other people were dealing with. And it's kind of like that, I guess. And when you hear these stories, you think you're struggling, and oh my God, look what this person's doing. I mean, does it help in that sense, Desiree, in terms of?
Yeah, for me, it's not necessarily like, dang, they did that.
Well, no,
They're
yeah,
way off.
yeah, right.
Worse off. No, it's only because I've done a lot. But it's more so, again, just relating back to that not feeling alone thing, where you hear people talking about like, oh, you also patted your garbage so that your bottles didn't cling together when you were taking out your garbage. Like, same, like I did that. I don't want to get into too
Well,
much detail.
my cousin Jack, and he wouldn't mind me using his name, is his wife found empty vodka bottles in the garage and places that she had no idea. Once she found out he was hiding bottles, it was amazing where he was hiding alcohol, and got away with it for decades.
Yeah. It's sad, but it's terrifying what alcoholism will do to you. But when you hear those stories and you're like, okay, I'm not alone. Somebody else did that. Like, you think that you are garbage, that you're trash, that you're, I wake up every morning and I literally would say, like, I effing hate myself. And that, it's like the opposite of misery loves company, because we're healing together. But it's like you've got somebody who knows what it's like to be where you are or have been.
No,
because you're so embarrassed and you feel such shame for the stuff you've done, and you don't think anybody else feels like that but you. And I remember when I had to go to rehab before I went to AA. And I remember they give you a big book and then you have to read the big book. And when I got to the part, kind of in the beginning about how the different ways you try to control your drinking, like not to drink after 5 or before 5, only drink this kind of liquor. And like, I was like, oh my God, I totally did this. And I thought I was the only person in the world. I was like, okay, maybe I'll let my guard down a little bit and listen to what they have to say because they are just like me.
Uh-huh. I'm intrigued by what you say about the liquor. Now, what are you saying? Drink certain types of liquor, or meaning what, like wine and
in the big
sherry?
book, there's a part about yes, and it is like those weird liquors because it was in like 1935. But
Oh, okay.
I think every alcoholic can say they've tried to control it, and I tried not to drink till after 5. I tried to only drink beer because I'd get too drunk and mean on vodka, but it would always go back to the morning.
Well, I was going to say the one we always knew was they had the one more and I got to go. And so we ended up, and then all of a sudden, then it's closing time. And then at one point you say, well, if I just stay up till I have to go to work, I'll be fine. And I think we all did that and all been there with that. Well, tell us the story. I was reading about Ronald Reagan, the great communicator, and he said that one of the keys to his communication was always working in a story. And if you go back and look at Reagan's speeches, he always had a little story in there. Can you tell us your story, Allison, or tell us the story about how you got to where you're at, if you don't mind? And
A little weird. I don't really want to be in the same sentence with Ronald Reagan.
oh, okay. Nothing to do with politics. I'm just saying.
How I got to AA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started drinking in high school, probably like a lot of people. I did realize, and alcoholism runs in my family. My dad was.
I didn't get started because I didn't want to, my brothers had parties. I was the youngest of the family, and my brothers had parties, and it would be cool. I'd have a beer. Matter of fact, I remember one of his girlfriends catching me spilling the beer out because I didn't like the beer. It was cool. But that's how I started drinking, not even voluntarily. How did you start? Did you remember that first drink? How did you have that first
I don't
drink?
remember the first drink, but I do remember when I was drinking that it was different for me than it was my friends. Like I always wanted to go somewhere where we could drink. My friends in high school wouldn't drink and drive because it was wrong, and I didn't care. I would because I was going to drink no matter what.
Okay.
And I could just tell that it was a little different.
So you were the bad seed.
Yep.
All right, so now we get into college, right? Did you go right to college? And what
I
happened?
did, and then I flunked out the first year because I drank, didn't study.
Well, what was the drinking like there? Were you drinking in the dorms? Were you going to bars then? Because like I said, in Wisconsin, it was so easy to get alcohol.
We didn't go to bars as much, but they would just be writing on the sidewalk in chalk, like party on. So you just go get your solo cup for $3 and drink as much as you can, and that's what I would do.
Oh, yeah.
And then drink more, and then it became to the point where I could not stop.
Well, you see, it's a modern day phenomenon. I don't know what they call it, but the kids make up a huge container of alcohol, and the goal is to drink it by the end of the night. And it's just insane that you would. But that was our goal until we did the Wapatui, where we had the grain alcohol in there. And all right, so you get through college. You did drop out of college. What happened?
I flunked out. They told me not to come back.
Okay, and do you attribute that to the drinking, or at least some? Okay.
I finished community college there. Moved to Arizona. Got married. We both continued to drink, and it just.
So you were kind of supporting each other then?
Yeah, kind of. I was
Okay.
noticing that I just all I wanted to do was drink, and I kept thinking like, can I stop? Can I not stop? And it was like, I don't think I can, so I'm not going to try. Ended up getting divorced, coming back here. And
That's an interesting mindset. So you thought, maybe I probably can't stop, so don't even try.
Right.
Wow.
It was so much of an obsession to me that I couldn't even think about stopping.
Yeah.
And it just became out of control. That's all I did, drank. Like I said, I tried to not drink till after work, and it never worked. I always started drinking earlier and earlier, getting DUIs, just feeling
Now,
miserable.
did you get a
every day.
DUI? I mean,
I did get a DUI.
didn't that, my nephew unfortunately just got a second DUI, and we thought the first one was going to sober him up, but
No.
keep him on the right path. But that doesn't necessarily hold true.
It's this obsession that you cannot get over. Like, you need to drink no matter what.
And did you bottom out? We always hear about bottoming out. Was there a moment or a point where you just said, "Oh my God"?
Yeah, I was so sick of drinking for so long that I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I can drink anymore. But then I was also like, I don't think I can live without drinking. So where am I at?
Yeah.
And I was like freaking out. And fortunately, my dad was in the program, so I was able to text him that I needed help and got into rehab and started going to AA.
See, that's funny you mention it because nature versus nurture. I always, tell you my dad being an alcoholic and my siblings as well, too. That hereditary. But your dad having gone to AA helped you in that regard to go.
Yes.
Okay. Can we hear your story? Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, no, not at all. So yeah, for me, I dabbled in drinking a little bit in high school, nothing serious, just prom, like maybe a few football games, basketball games, whatever. I was pretty active in school. So I didn't care about drinking that much. I went to college, I worked, so I drank a little bit here and there, but
Did you ever set out on a night, I'm going to get hammered tonight? Did you ever say,
yeah, if I did,
okay.
it was like I set aside that night. Somebody's
Okay.
birthday or like something exciting
Right.
is happening, right? Like we drink over anything. It's a sad day, a happy day, whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, then my ex-husband comes from a family of drinkers. He's a drinker, and in our late 20s, that's what we did. We were
Okay.
super social. We had lots of friends, lots of couples we were friends with, and that's what we did on the weekends. We went to concerts and bands and baseball games and all that jazz. It slowed down for a little bit when we had our kids.
Yeah, was that a moment, did you say, all right, now we're bringing somebody else in the world, we got to...
Absolutely. Because at that point, I didn't think I had a problem. I just thought we drank for fun, like we're social. And I've always worked in the restaurant business on and off, and that, it's a breeding ground for.
Well, I tell you, my brother had a bar. He ran a bar, and he was an alcoholic. So,
Yeah.
But I've noticed something interesting you said about the family parties, because that was something we had. I told you, with several members in our family being alcoholics, having a family party, and whether you should have alcohol there or not.
Right.
And they conveyed to me that, you're not going to make us drink if we're going to anyway. So you can have it there. Don't flaunt it, but don't think you have to keep it from us. Like,
Right.
If it's there, we're going to drink.
Yeah,
So,
well, and it was different too, because my family they didn't drink growing up. I think my dad, I saw him with a Budweiser once and was like shocked, like, oh my gosh. But this was like, bridal and baby showers were in church basements, and the punch bowl, the dreamsicle one, that was amazing. But, but so my husband's family, we spent a lot of time with them, and that was just what we did, and it was fun. And eventually, I was drinking with friends at the restaurant. It was a lot of women who had young kids that were working at night to offset, so their spouses could work during the day. And then it just, like Allie said, it just took over. It was all I could think about. I could not wait to get to work so that I could immediately start drinking. And
Wow.
I would bartend and serve, and I would manage, and I had this whole restaurant and any kind of booze that I wanted. And like Allie said, I was always a beer drinker. I loved Blue Moon and Miller Lite, and then I tried wine. Then I was switching to vodka, and then I'm like, man, I got to slow this down. Like, what do I hate? Like, oh, there's slow gin fizz. Like, there's gin. Like, nobody wants to drink gin, and then suddenly I'm trying gin. I ended up getting divorced and made some choices in life where I started hanging out at the local towny bars, and nobody cares there. Like, a lot of people have a problem, and nobody's judging you. You can drink as much as you want. I could walk home if I needed to. I ended up dating someone in town that it just was it assisted me in what I needed to do. But like you were talking about, it's like I would hide bottles and cans and all sorts of stuff because my kids were in middle school, and
did they ever catch you?
Yeah, and they knew. I had no idea what they really knew, but they knew it all. They knew everything I was doing, and then they kind of stopped talking to me. They just knew after 5 or 6 o'clock. It's like I'd be cooking and have a little wine. Like, what are you upset about? But my personality completely changes. I turn into a totally different person, and I hate that person. And that
we hear the term angry drunk, and then I'm a happy drunk myself. But my buddy the Marine, he's an angry drunk. So
yeah,
3 or 4 drinks in, he's going to start.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think I'm just like really woe is me. Like life, I don't know. Like I just start pointing the finger at everybody and get really unhappy. And I think I don't know. I can't explain it. So I did have a crash and burn. Literally, I crashed my car into a telephone pole on a country road. Trying to chase down the guy who didn't want to date me anymore. I mean, I don't know why. God, I was a prize, I tell you.
Where's the downside?
Fortunately, I did not get a DUI, but that really, my family had been wanting me to go to rehab for a while. And so rehab is just a separation separation. You know, it's like Desiree said, the 28 days that you get taken away from real life. And, you know, it separates you from the substance, but it's not working on your real issues. It's just a detox time. And so that's where the Alano Club and 12-step programs and AA comes in for me, that you work the steps, you work a program. And you were talking about, seeing people in the program. You said something about, I don't know, there was something I was wanting to talk about where there's a lot of people who come in and out. They think that sitting in these meetings, that's what's going to keep them sober. You don't visit AA, like you work AA. There is a program, there's a design for living. And once you get sober, the obsession is removed. You get to live a life that's fulfilling. And we touched on, I'm sorry, I'm talking forever.
No, that's all right.
We touched on shame a little bit, but, sitting in those rooms, sharing that shame, sharing that embarrassment, sharing the crash and burn stories and the devastation and the brokenness that we feel. And oh my gosh, I'm going to cry always. That's my nickname.
Yeah,
but sharing those stories and those experiences, once you put it out in the light, in the universe, someone's going to love you anyway. And it's just like, oh, I'm not awful. Like, this really isn't my fault. I suffer from a disease. It's really a gift.
And did you relapse? Because I know my brothers and my friends relapsed a couple of times, actually.
I did not. Fortunately, I have not today. I'm still sober today. This is a lot of people's stories. And the further I get away from my last drink, the more confident you can become if you don't stay humble and cognizant of the fact that you have a disease. You think after 10 years, like, oh, it's okay, I can have one or two. I don't want to have one or two. I want to have 11 or 12. I want to be falling down, dancing on the floor, going home with whoever I want. I just, I want to be a free bird. And I can't live like that. So
that's very honest of you. That's very honest. Desiree, how about yourself? Can you tell us your story? Now, you were only 2 years in, you said, right?
I am 2 years in. I started drinking when I was like 14, 15. I grew up in DeKalb. That's like all we had to do. I mean, I'm sure other people were not doing that. That's all we wanted to do.
Right.
And like Allie, I always knew I drank more. I always drank in excess. The point was always black out. I want to get drunk, and that's just what I want to do. And the weekends and any time throughout the week, if I could sneak out, I was a party girl. I was crazy. And then I got pregnant. All of that slowed down,
How about during pregnancy? I know it's a tough question, but were you tempted to drink?
No, not at all. It was, I will say that I think I've always had a problem with alcohol. But when I was pregnant, it wasn't a problem where it became later kind of problem to that degree. So when I was pregnant, it was not a big deal. Stopping drinking. I didn't drink for the longest time after having her. Then when my daughter's dad and I split up, he would have her every other weekend. And you're this mom without your baby now. And what am I going to do? I'm so lonely. I don't want to be at home alone. I'm going to go out. So same thing, right? I love to drink.
But you remember having that first drink after that break? Because you proved to yourself you could.
Yeah, and it wasn't a thing of me not thinking at that point that I could stop. I just was I like to drink and that's just what it is. But when I did have my first drink, and I had gone out, I bawled because I didn't realize I was going to get drunk. And I was like, I have a baby at home. Yeah, so it wasn't as fun as I had anticipated, but it didn't stop me. Then COVID hit, right? We're all home. My dad dies June of 2020.
Oh, gosh.
It was abrupt, it was sudden, and I just used alcohol to cope with that. So time flies when you're not having fun.
Those are all reasons people use to drink, though. That's especially losing your father like that. That was a great excuse. Oh my God, I lost my father. I'm gonna have a drink.
Oh, and I used it. I used that excuse. And so for years after that, right, I was just drinking. It had gotten so bad that my body, I'd had these problems for a while where I'd get these pains in my legs, or this would happen or that would happen, but I always would just ignore it. I don't want to deal with whatever's going on with me. And plus, once I get so drunk, I don't even feel it anymore. So, problem solved.
No problem. Heal myself.
It's not how that worked out. So, I ended up going to the hospital. They didn't know what was wrong. I, at one point, literally went to go take a bath because I wanted to soak in Epsom salt because my legs hurt so terribly. And I couldn't stand back up after being in the bath.
And so I went to the hospital. I couldn't walk. I literally couldn't walk. Long story short, I developed alcoholic neuropathy. And
Oh my God.
so, yeah, it ate my nerves up. Like, it was terrible.
Even at your young age, if you don't mind me saying that. That's
Yeah, no, you can say I'm young all the time. Yeah, yes, alcoholic neuropathy. I wasn't able to walk. It's crazy, and now I'm like tubing with the girls, and we're going all these places. But this was like, I couldn't sleep. Just imagine being in space, okay, and there's no gravity around you, but then there's the gravity that you can feel only on your body, though. So it feels like it's just my nerves are being tugged and twisted, and it's terrible. It's terrible. And some days I still have those pains. Actually, just the other night, I had a horrible night's sleep because it hurt. And but I'm still so blessed and so happy, right? Because like that is just a reminder of where I've been, and this is a reminder of like where I'm at now. And yeah, it's incredible.
So you get a physical reminder every once in a while.
Every day. Yeah.
Now, I don't want to go through all of them, but the 12 steps, I don't really know the 12 steps. You guys have, I was going to print them out, my thinking, these guys probably have memorized. Do you memorize the 12 steps, or is that
We
something?
we have to say them before every, we don't have to. We read them before.
I'll go through those real quick for us, sir.
No, thanks.
I mean,
We read them before
Give
every
us a
meeting,
couple.
so yeah.
All right.
Admitted we were powerless over alcohol, we could not manage our own lives.
I'm the worst with the
Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
okay.
Made us searching and fearless, no.
Oh, 3. Turn our will
Turn
and
our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him.
understand Him.
4.
Made a searching and fearless inventory. 5, admitted to ourselves, to another person,
To God and to another person, the exact nature of our wrongs.
So now stop at that one. So that's where you're not only being true to yourself, but you've got to be true to somebody else, too.
Oh yeah, you got to
Okay.
take accountability and ownership, and that's when you write down all the shitty stuff that you've done and all.
Well, that's what I wanted to get to.
It's all the resentments. It's everything that you've held in. It's all the fear and fear. I guess all the fear and the anger, the insecurity, the hurts, the harms, every injustice that you feel that you've suffered.
Were you able to do that? Were you able to make up to those
Oh
people?
yeah, absolutely, because you have complete clarity of mind, right? Like, yeah.
I don't want to make light of this. I don't know if you ever saw the Seinfeld episode where it was a very famous guy,
Yeah.
guest host, and he was supposed to do the 12 steps, and he was supposed to apologize, but at one point, George had tried on one of his sweaters, and he said his sweater was too big that his George's head stretched out the sweater. So he didn't apologize for that, but he did go through the 12 steps. You know what else? You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do remember that episode, but that's more of like 9th step,
Okay.
is what he was doing.
All right. But what is the one where you're making good about the people that you screwed around?
Yeah,
So-
yeah,
so-
step. Yeah, 9. So like 4th is you write down everything that you're an asshole because this bugs me.
Okay.
And then tell it to someone else, and then like 8 and 9 is then kind of where you go.
Apologizing, essentially? Okay.
Yeah, 9 would be like going to the people and telling them like, hey, I stole $50 from you. Here's $50, and then hopefully
Right.
they don't punch you.
All right.
And I will say, like, an amends is not necessarily an apology, because people have heard us as alcoholics say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this again, so many times.
It just
So
doesn't
it
take.
falls on
Okay.
deaf ears, right? It's the same as like a battered spouse, right? Like, I won't hit you again. I won't drink again. I swear I won't drink. And like, that doesn't mean anything. So a lot of times it's a living amends. So for me, my kids are teenagers. So for me to go to them and be like, I'm so sorry, like I shouldn't have drank, I shouldn't have done this, it means nothing to them. So the living amend is that I stay sober each day, that I'm present, and I'm able to support them and offer and provide the love that they deserve.
Now, let me ask you a tough question. Do you remind your kids that you're an alcoholic? Do you say that?
Oh yeah,
So-
absolutely. I go to meetings all the time. I've got a lot of friends in fellowship. These two are, my besties. I go to events. I go to a lot of different meetings. I mean, I'm involved in other things outside of AA, but
But do you think that's keeping them from drinking, though, or having tried
No,
that first
I
drink?
think this generation is more into marijuana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Truthfully, I think my daughter is 18. I know she's tried drinking, but they're more so into weed.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep. But
And it's-
I also remind my kids that addiction runs in our family, and that, it's upsetting for me. I know that they're teenagers, they're going to try things. I get it. But as a parent, almost 50 years old, you want to tell your kid, like, be careful with this. I never thought I'd be an alcoholic.
Right.
And I am. So this could happen to you. This playtime and this fun experimenting can turn on you in the drop of a dime. So.
And then 10 and 11, 12, what are those steps then?
Oh, what the heck?
You got to do them in order. They're hard to
Oh,
do.
well,
Right, my brains don't work like that.
Oh, yeah.
Generalizing.
Okay. So 10 is staying constant.
No.
Nope. That's 11.
Yeah, we.
So 10, 11, and 12 are maintenance steps, right?
Okay, that's what I meant,
Things that
just generally, yeah, okay.
Things that you do every day. When you're wrong, promptly admit it. That's 10. So, right, like
Right.
I am trying to live a different way now. I'm trying to live right, and say I have some sort of altercation and I act, I'm not perfect, I know it's hard to believe. And I, say I'm a jerk to them. We're like, then I go back and I realize, like, dude, I was a jerk. Okay, well, like, I'm going to promptly admit that because I've realized that my pride in justifying my behaviors just sits in me. Like, it doesn't feel good. It's not rewarding anymore. And that's how resentments build. So, like, I'm going to just clean my side of the street. So that's what 10 is there for. 11, stay in constant contact with God, right?
Prayer, meditation.
Through prayer and meditation. I am a Jesus freak. Like, I really am. I love my church. I pray all the time. God's like my BFF. I'm so serious. So
I'm getting past your quote. I'm going to only clean my side of the street. I love that. I heard that.
Not my quote, but and then 12. What is 12? Gosh.
Yeah, spiritually communion as a result of steps, practice
These principles in all of your affairs. Look at me now.
Okay, this message to alcoholics.
Yes. So that's what 12 is all about. Service, work.
So there is a little religious tone through these, the 12 steps.
I would say, yeah.
I mean, without
Yes.
going full religion there. Okay, quickly you've burned through our time. I can't believe this. But I want to mention all the options that people have. Now, you guys said you have 21 meetings a week, right?
Yes, at the Alano
That's just
Club.
at Alano Club.
Yeah, and there are some more at some.
Well, and I love the names of these. At the Salem Lutheran Church, they're called the Sandwich Steppers. A Trinity Lutheran Church are Friends of Bill's. You know what the story is behind the Friend of Bill's? Because I see there's a Friend of Bill's and then there's a Friend of Bill's female as well. Learning to Live, the Beginners Group. There's a Solution, Pass It On, Rhythm and Recovery, Bill and Bob's Excellent Adventure. I don't know what that's all about. That's
Friday night. That's a Friday.
Oh, that's it. No, okay.
It's a drug addict.
It is. Now, my stepson loves to say it is what it is. I see at St. Carol at Catherine's Church on Stout Street, Saturday at 9 a.m. It is what it is meets. And then Back to Basics at Cortland Flooring. Now, is that Rich at Cortland Flooring?
Yes, but I think that moved back to the church now.
Okay.
Just recently, so this hasn't been updated yet.
But there's no excuse not to attend a meeting if you want, right? I mean, because I'm seeing many meetings in many locations. Do you guys expect a miracle at the United Methodist Church in Kirkland? We Are Not Saints at the Alano Club. And Easy Does It. I was going to leave it as the last one because tell us about Easy Does It, right?
Those are all kind of sayings. Like Friends of Bill W. is like how you tell somebody you're an AA without saying I'm an alcoholic.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. Well, I tell you, so what moving ahead here now, people are going to hear this in early October. What do you guys do as a group? Are you constantly trying to recruit people? Yes, that sounds kind of bad.
No, it's more of a program of attraction rather than promotion. So we just want people to know that we're here. So if you think that you have a problem and want somewhere to go, there is a place in this community for you to go. You're not alone. We all thought we were alone. There is somewhere for you to go and talk to some other people and just feel the connection that you've been missing for so long.
Now, you guys have a number here, 758-8019. Is that locally? If they want to attend locally here, would that be where they would start, or where would the supposed to start?
I would say go to the website first. It gives, like, everything's up to date on the website. If you call the number, we might not answer.
And that's alanoclub.com, or what is it? I lost track of your website. What is it?
Is it DAAC?
It's not easy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was easy.
I always.
Well, I just typed in Alano Club to Calvin. I got you guys here, so that'll pop up. That's good to know. And I want to mention, Allison, your work over at Tails Humane Society, because I wonder how much animals can help us get through some of the problems like this. Because I imagine people lean pretty heavily on their animals when they're battling stuff like this.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's also some volunteers at Tails that have to do community service hours. So I see some of those people at meetings and then also see them at Tails.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But everybody that I've talked to that's volunteered at Tails and been around the animals, it's made a difference somehow in their life. Like it's really changed who they are. And when you're that lonely and scared and have an animal with you, it just makes a world of difference.
That's great. And I also want to point out, you guys also encourage other 12-step programs. So it's not just alcohol we're talking about here, right?
Right. So there's an NA meeting that started on Friday night. This is not a huge area, so there's not a huge number of NA meetings here, but we can have more at the club. So if you're in a 12-step program and looking for somewhere to have meetings, you can send us an email on our website and we can get a hold of you and see if that time's available at the club.
All right, very good. Now, is there something you guys always say at the end of the meeting? Is there a closing that we do?
Well, yeah, but if you're going to edit this, I can't believe you didn't talk about your needs. So my dog, Allie, is this amazing pit bull, and
Okay.
she comes to meetings at the club. I personally, she is my soulmate dog, and I think she soothes people for the most part. I mean, some people are cat people or don't like animals, but overall, I think she sits with people who are suffering and struggling. And
Wow, you really try to make her have a come up in this story.
If you watch her, she like Allie the dog, which gets a little confusing because then Allie the person, me, is there also.
Right.
But she'll go up to someone and just sit next to him, and you kind of see that person laid up a little bit, you know?
Oh, sure.
She's so like soothing and just and relaxing. She's a wonderful dog.
My wife have a book, The Dogs of 9/11, if you ever get a chance to look at that. And because we just lost, I think, the last living dog that helped find the bodies at 9/11. But the biggest thing they did, not only did finding, unfortunately, the dead bodies, was consoling the firemen and the firemen and women. And they showed pictures of the hugging the dog, the emotional thing of it, crying with the dog and talking to the dog about their friends that they lost. And just beautiful to see. Well, we have to have you guys back again. I thank you so much for sharing your stories, because I know it's not easy to do that, but we appreciate your fortitude here today.
Yeah, so we'd love to come back.
Yeah.
And let everybody in the community know that there is somewhere for you to go if you're having addiction issues. And I've met some of the greatest people I've ever met.
All right, well, thank you, the three of you. Appreciate it that much. And that's TD Ryan Unleashed, podcast number 27. TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Zyman, your State Farm insurance agent. Scott can help you save money bundling your home and auto insurance. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Zyman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. For delivery or pickup, call 815-758-8116 or go to pizzavilla.com. My Insurance Guys in Sycamore, family-owned, local, reliable. My Insurance Guys cover Medicare to auto and everything in between. Call us in Sycamore at 815-899-0950. My Insurance Guy, business, auto, home, life, and health at myinsurancegyguy.com. And Eldercare Services of DeKalb County, safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay at home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdecalb.org.
Also brought to you by Blue Silo Orchard. Blue Silo Orchard would like to invite you to their orchard at 19387 Tower Road in Rochelle. You can find us on Facebook at Blue Silo Orchard for up-to-date hours. We now have a variety of apples and pears and along with pumpkins and even some sunflowers left. You can find us on Facebook at bluesiloorchard.com. That's bluesiloorchard.com.